Hey guys, welcome back to Little Boy's Garage. Today we're going to be reinstalling the transfer case on my 03 Silverado. So you can use this installation removal guide for any 01 to 07 heavy duty Chevy. So you're going to need a 1/2-inch impact. It just makes the job a lot easier. You can do everything with a wrench, but this makes it much easier. These are the bolts for your transfer case. They're 15 millimeter. You're going to need a ratchet wrench. I highly suggest you have one of these. It makes your life a lot easier. This hardware here is for the mount for the transfer case. So you've got 18 millimeter on the sides for top and bottom, and you've got a 15 millimeter for the bracket that goes on the side under to the frame. So there's your 18 millimeter you're going to need for the bolts for the mount. Okay. And this is going to be your 3/8 ratchet for all the sockets you're going to use. So when you're putting your gasket on, this tab goes towards the top of your transfer case. So if you go to put it on, you've got the tab at the top, and it still doesn't want to line up. That's because this gasket only goes on one way. Just turn it around, keep that tab on the top, and you'll notice that all the holes line up like they should. So now we've got a position to put on, but first let's get the gasket on. And I've got the easy job. Can you see? Okay.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and start talking.
Okay. Positioning the gasket now. There's the tab. It goes towards the top. We'll lace it on each one of the studs. Unless I did. No, it's all right. Now I'm going to guide it in. So at this point, we're going to mate it up, but you got to hit the splines. So you need to go towards the driver's side a little bit.
Let me get down off this. There we go.
Okay. There you go. Now we're on the splines. I'm not sure if we're lined up. I might need to wiggle a little, just a little bit. No, I'm serious. There it goes. All right.
Might have to let the transmission down now.
I think
just a tad bit. Are we splined on at least?
You're on the splines, but I do believe we need to go. There's no way we need to go. Oh yeah, there it is. We got to turn it. Watch your fingers.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
We're going to turn this down, and it's right there. Push it forward. There, it's in. So what he's doing right now is he's actually feeling for the front of the transfer case where it mates into the transmission. You can't really see the top couple of nuts that hold onto these studs, so you're going to have to run them in as best you can. These ones down here are a little bit easier. We'll get those cinched up. The next part is to put the transmission mount back on the bottom of the transfer case. So this is your transmission mount, and when you put it back on, you need to make sure that you've got the longer side on the driver's side. This will make sure it lines back up with your transmission crossmember. So right now we're just gonna put the transmission mount on. There's really no torque spec for these, so we're just gonna get them where we need them and give them maybe like a quarter of a turn or so. Just don't break it, you know, you don't want to have to replace your case. All right, so next we're going to put the transmission crossmember back in. We're going to attach it loosely to make sure when we let the transmission down that the bolts or the studs go where they're supposed to go. Once we have that in place, we'll go ahead and cinch it up and cinch up the bolts for the transmission mount. We'll be good to go for that, and it's time to put the drive shafts back in. So now we're going to pull the crossmember up. We're going to get it bolted back in. We're going to bolt it in loosely so that we can pull down the transmission and make sure it lines up. And then we'll cinch it up. These are your 18mm bolts with a weird looking nut on top. Joe's going to get that one started, and then I'll get my side started. This thing is almost too pretty to put back in this truck. Special shout out to Nate's Transfer Cases for putting this thing back together. I drove this thing out there yesterday. He's in Jamestown, Ohio. He took it apart and put it back together right in front of me. It's like an hour and a half. Probably would have been an hour if I hadn't been asking him a bunch of questions. But this is the beauty we're dealt with right now. And a huge thanks to him and shout out to him. Guys, look him up. We're going to put the link in the description. His stuff is top notch. Definitely check him out. All right, Joe, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let her down slow.
Right there.
Right there. Okay. All right, so right now Joe's going to get the nuts started on the studs out of the transmission mount. Once we have them started, we're going to go ahead and cinch up the transmission cross member, and then we'll put the full weight of the transmission onto the cross member and finish tightening the bolts that Joe is working on right now. Right now, I'm just going to snug up the bolts on the transmission cross member. We left them loose so we could make sure that the transmission cross member mount actually came down where we needed it, and it did, and we were able to thread the bolts on. So now we're going to finish installing this, snuggle up the way we want, and then we'll finish dropping the transmission, put the weight back down on it, and we'll snug up the transmission mount next. Right now, Joe's reattaching the plugs on the top of the transfer case itself. These are important so that the computer knows what state the transfer case in, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. It also is actually the speed sensor for the whole transmission. It runs off a gear that's inside of the case. All right, so the last thing we finished up there, we got the plugs in on the top of the transfer case. There was 3 of them. Not hard to plug in. It's much easier once you drop everything down and you can get your hands up there. Not a hard thing to do. So the last few steps are to get the drive shafts back in. There's one on the front and one in the back. Obviously, you had to take those out to get the transfer case out in the first place. We're not going to film that. It's kind of boring. So get those back in. Make sure you put some oil into the transfer case. Your oil of choice, it's up to you. I ended up going with AMSOIL on that. You can look it up specifically for your truck at their website. And then it's ready to start and go. So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Wood Boys Garage, always appreciate you guys checking us out. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you back for the next one.